We are live here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. The New Orleans Saints got exposed and absolutely embarrassed yesterday for NFL Week 3 against the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to be live discussing the changes that the Saints need to make. Who needs to be benched? What do the Saints need to fix? There's clear problems, and I have solutions. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. I got my guy Loco Lopez on the ones and twos as always. You're watching Saints Now live. We go live every Monday, every Thursday, 3 p.m. day before. I want you to give me a Who Dat in the comments section. Great to see the squad hanging out with us. Johnny M got done with class early out at the great University of Arkansas. Shout out to you. Braden, Trace, if they don't do something with the right guard, Cesar Ruiz. We're going to talk about him later. I love football. What's going on? Jerry G, good to see you. Young Saint, how's it going? Gino, Jigsaw, Vernell, Lil A, good to see the squad. Jartavius, Mile High. Jartavius giving me a Who Dat in the chat. Good to see the squad rolling out, showing out. Matthew, give me a Who Dat. Brandon, Jeremy, Yola, all giving me a Who Dats. Shout out to the squad. Mile High, Sean. If you want to shout out, be sure to type Who Dat in the chat. If you're a diehard Saints fan, no matter what, good, bad, or ugly, you bleed black and gold, I want you to give me a Who Dat in the comments section. Who Dat and Woo Pig from Johnny M. Shout out to you, brother. Robert, good to see you. Brandon, Thomas, Sean, Jartavius, good to see you, fam. Johnny, what are you doing for the Notre Dame game? Might try to pull off a crazy little trip up to Fayetteville this weekend. Don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to try to convince Maddie to let us make that happen. I saw tickets for less than $100, so that might be interesting.
Is it one of those 11 o'clock games? Or?
It's a 3 o'clock. It's an afternoon game, so it's like it blows, but
it's not bad. It could be worse.
Could be worse. He said you're tailgating. Just come on out. All right, Johnny, I'll let you know if I do. Johnny, do you have me on social media? Do you follow me on socials? I did talk about the Hogs on some social content today, which is pretty cool.
Tracy was talking about his hog.
I always love talking about my hog, for sure. Love talking about my hogs. Big pig energy over here. Just kidding. Bruce, good to see you. Bernard, good to see you. Robert, good to see you as well. Mile High says anytime the Raiders lose, it's a great week. I'll follow you on Insta. Johnny, follow me and just send me a DM. So that way I can make sure I see it because sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle. Shoot me a DM so that way I can make sure I chop it up with you sometime, Johnny. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for tuning in as always. We got 67 people rocking and rolling with us. I want you guys to let me know a player who needs to be benched. Sound off in the comment section. Who's somebody who needs to get off the field? Name a starter who needs to be benched. I have 4 starters that need to be benched, and we're going to discuss those players today. I'm not going to tell you who they are quite yet because I want you guys to hang out with us for the next couple of minutes. So we're going to get you guys updated on who needs to be benched. We're going to talk to you about the 3 major issues for the Saints and what they need to do to fix those. And, of course, we're going to take questions at the end of today's live show. So be sure to use hashtag Saints send in a super chat to get in on the mailbag. I see a lot of people saying Isaac Yiadom, Quincy Riley needs to start. Kellen Moore play calling needs to be benched from Yola. I don't think the play calling needs to be benched from Kellen Moore, for what it's worth. Isaac Yiadom from Kentrell. Cesar Ruiz from Bruce. And Sean both saying Cesar Ruiz. Both names are going to be on my list. Huh?
A lot of ball knowers in here.
A lot of ball knowledge in this room. Joey saying bench Kellen Moore. That's pretty funny. I think if you were already on the fire Kellen Moore train, although I understand because I am too a fanatic of this football team, you need to take a chill pill. Kellen Moore's a good coach. Kellen Moore's an excellent play caller. Kellen Moore's dealing with a bad roster, and he is still early in his head coaching tenure. So give it some time. By no means am I excusing it. That doesn't mean it can't be better, but I will tell you right now, Kellen Moore is an excellent option. And for what it's worth, you could say, screw it, we want to blow it all up, and it will only set the team back a little bit. Like, if you do that, you basically just admitted this entire season was a waste of a year. You basically didn't do anything. So I think that making any sort of changes to the coaching staff, at least with Kellen Moore in regards, would be an absolute huge mistake by the Saints. Get rid of Chase Young. He's a waste of money from Drew. Braden says, let's start Shuck this game and see what happens. We'll talk about that possibility as well. I think Tyler Shuck should not start quite yet, but I will explain my case later on. Michael, what's your score prediction for Bills versus Saints? I'm going to keep it real with you guys. We might be lucky to score a touchdown. we might only score 1 touchdown. And that's me being generous. Like, I genuinely could see this being like a 63-10 type game. It's not going to be pretty. Like, I want you to know, it is not going to go well. We all want it to go really well. It will not. I am somebody who prides myself in being an optimist, but I am also somebody who prides myself in keeping it real. We might lose by 70. Just full transparency. I don't know any way around it. I don't know how you could try to convince me otherwise. We are not going to be good at that game. We will not win. We will not cover. It will be bad. Just if you are somebody who likes to lay money down on games, avoid the Saints game. Don't even think about it. It would be a bad idea. It would be such a bad idea. You'd be losing your money. Oh, fun fact. Marcus Davenport placed on IR.
What's new?
Leo DiCaprio meme. Hey! Hey. I've seen that one before. I understood that reference. Marcus Davenport to IR. Where have I seen that one before? Insane. Alrighty. And by the way, Zach Robinson moving down to the field instead of being up in the coaching box. Surely that'll fix the Falcons offense. We're bad, but the Falcons are terrible too. I want you to get down in the comment section. Use hashtag Saints. Send in a super chat. We're doing a mailbag later on in today's video. If you have a burning question, if you have a hot take, if you have a trade idea, you want to see somebody start, you want to see somebody get benched, you want to see somebody get cut, if you have any ideas, anything you are passionate about that you want the rest of the Who Dat Nation to see, use hashtag Saints. Better yet, send in a super chat. If you do send in a super chat, you will get to skip the line and we'll spend a lot extra time on your question. If you do use the free version, make sure you do hashtag Saints because otherwise you will not be featured. The software does not recognize any questions that do not have hashtag Saints. So don't get mad at me. Get mad at the at the technology. That's not my fault. It's not even Lopez's fault. But you can use hashtag Saints if you would like to be featured. Thomas saying 36-30 Bills. If the New Orleans Saints put up 30 points once this season, I might shave my eyebrows. I might have to consider it.
That's a win right there.
I might have to consider it. If the Saints put up 30 points in one game, I might shave one of my I'll shave one eyebrow. It's just it won't happen. Braden, what happened to Trey Palmer? He was hurt yesterday. He did not play. He's a waiver wire acquisition. Just hasn't played yet. I mean, it takes a minute to learn a new offense and stuff. So he just hasn't been active. Let these young guys play. What do you have to lose? Travis, we talk a lot about some players getting benched. Make sure you use hashtag Saints. Send in a super chat if you would like to be featured on the mailbag. We're going to be doing that here momentarily. And while we see mailbag questions pile in, we're going to go ahead and get into our first piece of content. But before we get there, if you're tired, if you're so over just mediocre football, I wouldn't even call what yesterday was football. It was not football. I'm over it. I'm fed up. I am tired of the New Orleans Saints playing mediocre football. I'm tired of embracing being average. I'm tired of shooting to just be okay. That's not the goal. That should not be what we strive to be. This is a great franchise who, in the last 20, 30 years, of course, it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows, but the last 20 years has been a perennial team in the National Football League. And they are now a dumpster fire. So welcome back to it. We are in the midst of a rebuild, and we're going to break on down some players that the New Orleans Saints must bench. We're going to talk about it here on the channel. My name is Trizzy. That's Lopez. Be sure to drop a like on the video. When we get to 20 likes, we can get this thing started. I need 4 of y'all. To hit the thumbs up icon. Brandon saying Kendre Miller looks too slow to play NFL running back. I don't know how you could say Kendre Miller has been looking bad. I mean, he didn't say bad. He looks slow. I thought that he's had some really nice bursts and some really nice athletic moments. And he's also shown his contact balance is just off the charts. Like, he is not a first or second guy who brings you down. He is takes 2, 3, 4 guys to bring him down. So, sure, the speed is not 100%. It's not a 99 overall Madden rating. But there's very few people who that is the case for. And on top of that, speed isn't the only thing that makes a good running back. It's an important factor, But I think if Kendre Miller can run through an MFer's face and it takes 3 people to bring him down, I think that's pretty valuable.
Yeah. Cam Scatteraboo, great night last night. What was he like?
Yeah, Cam Scatteraboo, he isn't ultra fast, but he led the Giants in the entire offense. He was the reason that they had an offense. That touchdown, too, by him. Oh, my God.
The celebration.
I wish we had Scatteraboo. I wish we had Scatteraboo. I'm still dreaming of a Scatteraboo jersey, but it's Beaux. Still dreaming of it. Maybe one day we'll trade for him. I liked Evan Neal, but could have had Cam Scatteraboo. Oh, well. Braden, here's a good question. Do we trade for Kirko Chains? Use hashtag Saints, and I'll answer that question. Johnny M, $5 super chat. We should try to grab a vet quarterback to help with mentoring like Mariota, someone who won't break the bank. Let me pull up the free agents right now that are available at the quarterback position. Because if you guys want to sign a quarterback, we can. But you are limited to Jake Fromm, Jeff Driscoll, or C.J. Beathard.
I thought Jake Fromm's had insurance place now. Can he just pack up and leave?
Yeah, Jake Fromm sells insurance, by the way.
Can he just pack up and go back to the NFL?
There is nobody you could sign that would help you out. There is not a soul out there that could help you sign or help your roster. Johnny, I love you. Who would you go get? Like, I can't even begin to try to think of a name. Trade for Jameis? Why would we trade for a quarterback? Why? Like, I'm in the camp of I'm done making trades unless it's trading people away so I can get some draft capital back. New Orleans Saints have no business trading for anybody else. You can sign somebody off a practice squad. Let's see if there's a list of practice squad.
But what the Saints have right now, that's what they're rocking with for most of the year.
Okay. NFL practice squad tracker. Let's see here. Okay. Adrian Martinez is in San Francisco. Sean Clifford or Mike White are in Cincinnati. Shane Buechele in Buffalo. Bailey Zappi in Cleveland. Kadon Slovis in Arizona. DJU for the Chargers. Sam Hartman, Will Greer, Kyle McCord, Malik Cunningham. C.J. Beathard is on a practice squad. Clayton Tune, Hendon Hooker, Cam Miller, Tyler Huntley. I'd be down for that, but it doesn't make a difference. It still doesn't make a difference. Jake Haener, Hunter Deckers, Logan Woodside, Trevor Siemian. I mean, F&A Cotton. It's just not a good list out there. Not really good players. All righty. Let's get into the content. Let's get into this. And we're going to be hanging out and rocking and rolling. We're going to start off today's live show talking about players that the New Orleans Saints need to bench. I got four players who definitely need to find their ass on the sidelines on game day. And we're going to talk about it. By the way, Jordan Addison suspension is over for Minnesota. All righty. Lopez, whenever you are ready, we can dive on in and we can have a fun conversation and, maybe get a little bit ugly here. Let's do it. You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Girouard. Got my guy, Loco Lopez, on the ones and twos. For today's video, the New Orleans Saints must bench these guys. It's time to make some changes. It's time to prioritize the youth movement. But I want to start off first by acknowledging a player that should not be benched yet. Maybe not at all. At least in this moment in time, the day after the Week 3 embarrassment, I still think Spencer Rattler should not be benched. I'm going to give you four players who should be benched here momentarily, but let me explain my case. I do not believe Spencer Rattler has been the issue for the New Orleans Saints offense. I will not sit here and say he's been perfect because he has been far from that. But I do not believe he has been the reason that the offense has not been successful. I think that he has actually been one of the few bright spots of that unit, and I think that he overall has been impressive. I think a lot of y'all are just heard me say, I think Spencer Rattler's been perfect. He's the franchise guy, and he's going to win us 900 Super Bowls. He is the next coming of Drew Brees. That's not what I just said. I said that I thought he has been fine. I think he's been impressive. I don't think he's been perfect, but I think he's been okay. I'm going to explain my case and then get into more players, or all players that I think should be benched here momentarily. But really quick, got to thank today's presenting sponsor for this video, and that is Prize Picks. This episode of Saints Now by Chat Sports brought to you by the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the whole wide world, and that is none other than Prize Picks. Ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we make decisions every single day, but over on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid, so don't miss on any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. It's the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your ball knowledge into cold, hard cash all season long. It's the best place to win money while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. For Monday Night Football, I got a fun little lineup. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derrick Henry, both guys just got to find the end zone. Trying to make some money because the New Orleans Saints did not help me in that regard this week. So I need to go cash in, and I'm feeling pretty good about these projections. You can fade these picks. You can tail these picks. Don't really care what you do. Just make sure you get in on the action over at Prize Picks. You download the app and use code CLNS. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Reminder, that's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. All that information is available in the comments and description of this video. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Now, going back to the Spencer Rattler conversation, looking at the numbers, you can see he has not been the problem. The New Orleans Saints offense by no means has been pretty. It has been an absolute travesty, to be totally frank. However, Spencer Rattler has been keeping the offense alive. You can see it in each of his 3 games, over 200 yards. He's protected the football really, really well. And 118 rating in week 2. Sure, those numbers dropped in week 3, and it wasn't all beautiful in week 3, and it was a disgusting loss. That being said, I do think that he is a guy who has shown he is not the worst quarterback in the league. And for somebody who was labeled that going into week 1, it's pretty nice to see that he's proving the haters wrong. And for what it's worth, don't look, but Spencer Rattler is in the top half of the National Football League in passing yards through 3 weeks. This video was filmed before Monday Night Football, so obviously we have to see Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, and see what they are capable of doing. Spencer Rattler right now has more yards than them. Of course, Monday Night Football should change that, but right now he is in the top half of the league in passing yards. Come on. He's 14th. There's 32 teams. He is in the top 50%. You want to see a list of players who have less passing yards than Spencer Rattler? You're going to be surprised when I show this to you. No one in the NFC South is outperforming Spencer Rattler. Based off the numbers, Rattler is QB1 in the division. You want to argue with me? That's fine. But the numbers will say that I'm right, and if you disagree, you're wrong. CJ Stroud, right under 600 yards. He's had a really rough start to this year. Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to be honest. I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers offense was going to be okay, especially adding DK Metcalf. He hasn't really done a ton at all. And that's not to say that Aaron Rodgers or the Steelers offense has been bad, but that's Aaron Rodgers. It's getting outperformed by Spencer Rattler, 5th-round pick from last year. Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. Clearly, they miss Kellen more up in Philadelphia. So in my opinion, going back to this conversation, do we bench Spencer Rattler? There are people on social media, there are people in the live chat, there's people in my comment section who are saying you might as well. It's just time to go put Tyler Shuck in there. And I think that benching Rattler would make no sense right now. Maybe down the road, later in the season, bye week, we can revisit this conversation. But for right now, I don't think it makes any sense. So I'm going to tell you 4 players who it does make sense for. I want you to name one guy, though, who needs to be benched. Maybe it's one of the 4 players I'm about to name. I have a feeling a lot of y'all are going to write down the guy I'm about to show you. But get in the comment section, put on your head coaching hat, and name a player who you think needs to ride the bench on game days. First guy I'm going to name on this list is Isaac Yiadom. He has been terrible. He has been awful. He has not been good. The New Orleans Saints could potentially earn a comp selection if Isaac Yiadom doesn't hit a certain threshold of snaps played this year. And I can tell you right now, I am just fed up and I'm tired and I'm done watching a 29-year-old cornerback struggle. I'm not saying that you should bench him for the sole purpose of keeping that comp pick because Paulson Adebo left in free agency. But I am saying that you should bench him because he's just been outright bad. he has not been a contributor on the defense. He's not been a reliable piece. And for a player who got the start because he has more experience and he's the veteran, he's not been good enough. And Quincy Riley, when we have seen him in a very, very small sample size, has answered the call and been impressive. I mean, when we saw Quincy Riley get on the defense, he was making an immediate impact. He did a great job forcing a fumble late in the fourth quarter. He stuffed the run right at the line of scrimmage, did a phenomenal job, put the shoulder pad right on the ball. Ball gets jarred loose. Pete Werner comes up with the recovery. Again, the game was way out of reach by then, but it was a great play by Quincy Riley, and that's a guy who has been praised for being such a ball hawk and being somebody who makes plays and has a nose for the football. We saw Riley get run with this before some of the other backups and second-team guys, and Kellen Moore, he's wanting to get more action for Quincy Riley in the rotation, even saying they anticipated him getting more action being a part of the formula for the defense. So in my personal opinion, I don't think that there is any justifiable reason to put Isaac Yiadom on the field over Quincy Riley at this point. Yiadom hasn't been good. He has not been reliable. And Quincy Riley, in the limited sample size we've seen from him, has been a good player. I want to see him get tested. I want to see him grow. I want to see him develop because I would much rather watch a rookie struggle and go through growing pains than a 29-year-old get absolutely dusted week in and week out. Call me crazy, but I would much rather develop the future than just try to cling on to right now. If you guys want to subscribe to the channel, we are on the road to 100K. We're right under 51,000. Today's goal, we're just trying to get to 50,700, so only need 25 of y'all to hit that sub button and join our Golden Gang for 100% free Saints content by fans, for fans. 49,325 until we get to that milestone and get that plaque. We're chipping away every single video. Help us out. No subscriber is too small. Every subscriber helps. So join the family, join the squad, and let's get that plaque. Now, Brandon Cooks, I believe, also needs to find less time on the field. And I don't want to sit here and say that Brandon Cooks has been absolutely disastrous. For what it's worth, the New Orleans Saints did sign him to a 2-year contract, and I think that having him on the roster is beneficial in terms of having a veteran wide receiver. But that doesn't mean he needs to be starting and getting a ton of snaps and a ton of run every single week. I think he could be more of a support role and be kind of a guy who gets rotated in here and there. Like I think with Brandon Cooks, he's made some okay plays. He's had some moments where it's been like, all right, that's nice. But he hasn't done anything for me to be like, wow, you got to keep him on the field. And like, again, I go back to this conversation, you got to prioritize the youth. So when you look at the wide receiver room and how it shakes out, obviously Trey Palmer and Devon Vele missed last week due to injuries. But I think when Trey Palmer gets healthy, I think you can swap Palmer for Brandon Cooks, considering they're both speedsters. Mason Tipton, I've also made arguments before. I think he should get more run and get more opportunities. Devon Vele, I think that he's a guy that the New Orleans Saints clearly want to be a part of their offensive plan based off of the trade that they made to bring him in the preseason. And I do believe that Devon Vele will emerge and have a bigger role as the season progresses and as, of course, he gets healthy. And I think with Devon Vele, he did a good job in week 2 of proving why the New Orleans Saints traded for him. He out-physical the 49ers defensive back, was able to put himself in a position to secure a touchdown pass, and I want to see more of that utilized on the Saints offense because I think that big-bodied contested catch ability, that's something that's missing on this team. And Devon Vele does provide that. Whether you know it or not, he is really, really good in contested catches, 60% contested catch success rate last year. And on top of that, he's also been somebody who has been a really, really solid guy to target in the red zone. I think he should get more work when you are trying to get those first downs and either extend drives or try to score touchdowns and complete those drives because the New Orleans Saints have been struggling in that regard. And I think Devon Vele, as the season continues to go, his role will emerge and will evolve, and he will have a bigger role moving forward. Let's go to the trenches because there's one player I have been very, very disgusted with over the past few years, and it's a player that I am so tired of trying to make a case for. He's a player I'm disgusted with, to be quite frank. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know why they ever paid him. And I tweeted this out 2 days after the week 1 loss. And I could not sit here and believe this anymore if I wanted to today. The New Orleans Saints need to look to replace Cesar Ruiz. He is not good. He is a bad offensive lineman. He is unreliable. He is just downright not doing good. And there's one play in specific that really gets under my skin. It's Juwan Johnson and Cesar Ruiz. Johnson's trying to run out to go for a pass, and him and Ruiz start blocking each other. What is that about? How are you going to block your own tight end? Wearing the same color helmet, jersey, pants as you. Make it make any sense. Cesar Ruiz has been downright atrocious this year. Less than 40 overall PFF grade. Less than 40 run blocking grade. No sacks allowed, but he's allowed 4 pressures. Cool. Awesome. Don't care. He's terrible. And to be totally honest, the fact that the New Orleans Saints paid him in 2023, it makes this so much more frustrating. And I don't even know why they paid him to begin with. They should have never given him money. They should have never extended him. They should have never put more cash in his pocket. He is stealing money. He is causing problems, and he has been so unreliable. I can honestly think of one play in Cesar Ruiz's tenure that really stuck out, and I was like, wow, that's a great play by him. And it was on the Alvin Kamara screen pass against the Cowboys in Week 2 last year when he booked it downfield and was a lead blocker for most of the way. That's the only time I can think of Cesar Ruiz doing something good for my football team. He has been atrocious. He's been a liability, and he needs to get off the field. The only problem, I don't think the Saints can take him off the field. I mean, look at the depth chart right now. You're pretty decimated already with injuries. And Torsilli Simpkins, he filled in yesterday because Radens and Trevor Penning both dealing with injuries in Week 2, and he wasn't super duper impressive. I'm going to give him some slack here because undrafted free agent, rookie, getting his first start in a tough position against a good defensive line and a good defense in Seattle. But there's not a lot of options here for the New Orleans Saints, especially if the other injuries are really settling in. So, in my opinion, I don't think the New Orleans Saints can afford to bench Cesar Ruiz. That's what's so freaking frustrating. That's what really grinds my gears. The offensive line is decimated. They're hurt. They're not playing great football. And they're committing a lot of penalties. Cesar Ruiz, one of the guys committing a bunch of those. So is everyone else. I'm not saying that nobody else is committing penalties. But the offensive line is already injured. I don't think the New Orleans Saints can afford to take Cesar Ruiz off the field. And to be totally honest, we got to find a way to get off of his contract this year. We got to find a way to get him out of New Orleans this offseason without question. There's no reason he should be back in the black and gold next year. Now, number 4 player, I promised you 4, so here's the 4th. Blake Grupe. It's time to have a conversation about benching Blake Grupe because obviously he has not been good. He's missed 3 field goals so far this season. A miss in week 1 from 53 yards, a miss in week 2 from 43 yards, and a miss in week 3 from 42. 53, 43, 42. Just hasn't been good, man. He just hasn't been reliable. And to be totally honest, I'm just fed up with how he's played. And it's really, really frustrating when you have a player who's had multiple kicker battles and he continues to win them, and he's still playing bad. And that's frustrating because all the reports coming out of training camp and this summer and everything was that Blake Grupe's been Mr. Consistency. He may not have missed an entire field goal all summer, but now guy can't make it. I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, shout out to Sig for this stat right here. Since Blake Grupe's rookie year, most field goal misses. Grupe's 5th. For reference, Will Lutz has 8 misses since 2023. That's tied for 18th. The guy that originally lost to Blake Grupe in the kicker battle, shout out to Dennis Allen, is playing better. It's frustrating, to say the least. Kind of going with the Cesar Ruiz thing, though, I don't know if the Saints can bench him. I don't know if you know this. Blake Grupe's a captain. Blake Grupe earned the captain title by the team. He was selected as a captain. So I would be totally shocked if there was any changes anytime soon at the kicker position. Maybe this offseason, maybe. Maybe there's a draft pick, a trade, a free agency acquisition, a UDFA, something there. There needs to be something there. But I would be so shocked if the New Orleans Saints made a change, especially around a captain. I think that wouldn't make a ton of sense from an internal perspective. Externally, as a fan, I want to see him play better. And I think that the best thing moving forward is just Blake Grupe figuring it out and playing better football. As dumb and as lazy of a take as it sounds, I think the best thing for him is to play better. Charlie Smith, for what it's worth, is on the practice squad. So maybe you give an opportunity to the Irishman, but he has struggled with consistency and accuracy issues as well. So, I don't want to sit here and take anything away from the special teams room, but Phil Galliano has some work to do in that regard, and special teams has just not been a strength of the New Orleans Saints. Makes me really miss Darren Rizzi for what it's worth. But I want you guys to get down in the comment section and let me know, what should the New Orleans Saints do at kicker? We've given you 4 players who the Saints need to put on the bench. I gave a pretty good argument, I think, for all of them. And I gave a really strong argument, in my opinion, as to why Spencer Rattler should not get benched. What do you think they should do at kicker? Just keep Blake Grupe on the field, elevate Charlie Smith, sign Younghoe Koo. There's a lot of options out there. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time. Boom. Booyah. What'd y'all think? What'd y'all think of that first segment? Did you guys have some fun with that one? Did you guys have some fun with that one? Yes, Charlie Smith or Blake Grupe is a captain. Youngblood, what's good, brother? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. What should the Saints do at kicker? Start Grupe, cut him, elevate Charlie Smith. What do you guys think? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Lopez, what would you do if you're the Saints with the kickers?
I feel like there's no winning. Either you cut Blake Grupe and you go Charlie Smith. I don't have much faith in Charlie Smith right now.
Yeah, that's not much better.
If you do that, you might piss off the locker room with Grupe being a captain.
Yeah.
So it's like a lose-lose.
Yeah.
Because I also don't know if Grupe has it in him to actually get better. I don't know if it's a mental thing. Maybe he does great in preseason and in training camp because there's no pressure and he can't figure it out in a game. But I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
I'm so frustrated that the Saints offense is playing bad. It feels like they're scared. It just feels like they don't have confidence. It feels like they're a scared offensive squad, just to be totally honest. No Love Matt asking who should we draft in 2026. Do we have that list 10?
Of course you do.
We have 10 names that you could go and draft in round 1. Najee Harris did in fact suffer a season-ending torn Achilles. Injury news. That sucks. Alrighty, 2026 draft prospects. Here are 10 guys that I would consider. You're not going to see Arch Manning because I think that he's just been dog shit. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. He needs another year. I want nothing to do with Arch Manning if he tries to come out of the draft this year. John Mateer has been one of the best players in the national football, in college football. Garrett Nussmeier, although he hasn't been super duper impressive, I still think that he is a good quarterback, and I think that he could be a fun player to have in New Orleans, especially with the Louisiana ties. I love the idea of going offensive weapon here. Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, both really, really nice options. Carnell Tate, a bigger body guy. Jordan Tyson, just an all-around dog. Offensive line, we talked about replacing Cesar Ruiz. I think that the interior offensive line is really where you need to explore the draft. I don't think you need to focus much on the tackle position. Caleb Downs, one of the overall best targets in all of college football. Would love him to be an addition to the Saints defense. Peter Woods, Reuben Bain Jr., TJ Parker, Cassius Howe. You'll see some defensive linemen on your screen as well. I think that the pass rush needs to be better. I think that there needs to be more effective run stopping. And I think overall, I'm just tired of drafting offensive tackles. I would like to bring in somebody whose jersey I can buy. Like, give me somebody who I can root for actively on game days. Don't really care who it is. I really could care less because this is a team that has a lot of holes and has a lot of needs. So for the New Orleans Saints, why would you not just go grab one of the best players in the draft? Don't overthink it and try to get a really underrated prospect. You have the top 3 pick. Take one of the top 3 players. Like, don't.
Also,
you don't have to reinvent the wheel here.
With offensive tackle, they're great picks when you get the right ones.
Yeah,
we haven't found the right ones yet.
I think for tackle we have the right ones with Fuaga and with Banks. The Trevor Penning, questionable decision.
He was supposed to be a tackle.
He was supposed to be a tackle. He's supposed to be a guy. But he may be a guard. We haven't seen him take the field yet. And for what it's worth, him not being on the field doesn't help him in any way. So it's kind of one of those like,
offensive line is an important draft pick. You just have to pick them right.
Yeah, you have to make good selections.
We're not there.
You have to make good selections. And that goes for any pick. Like, love of God, how are you going to rebuild a team if you can't have a good draft class? If you can only get one player in each draft class, that's okay.
That's not good.
It's not good. You need to be shooting for multiple home run hits. And that, again, doesn't mean you reinvent the wheel and overthink shit. Just go take the best players. Go take the guys who are proven. Take the guys who aren't injury prone. Stop trying to be visionaries and reinvent stuff. Like, you don't need to. The formula's out there. Follow the fucking recipe and you'll have a good-looking cake. It's really not hard. It's really not that hard.
A name that wasn't on that list, though? Maybe like a second, third round, a Whit Weeks?
Oh, my God, I'd shit for Whit.
I would shit for
Whit Weeks. I would cry. Whit Weeks and Danny Stutsman would legitimately make me cry so hard. I need it. I need Danny Stutsman, Whit Weeks, like I need oxygen. That would be so electric. I genuinely, I think it would be one of the most exciting linebacker rooms.
That would be one where I was like, you know what? Good job, Mickey.
We have our own exciting whites. If they pulled off Whit Weeks and Danny Stutsman, I'd say, all right, Mickey Loomis should get an extension.
Yeah. We'll stop the petitioning.
Harold Perkins, Whit Weeks, Danny Stutsman. Yeah, dude. Give me either of them. But Whit Weeks especially, just because I Exciting Whites would be hilarious. I wanted my own Exciting Whites t-shirt. I want an Exciting Whites t-shirt.
I thought you were going to say that you can see yourself in Whit Weeks, just not as much in Harold Perkins.
No.
I can envision myself as Whit Weeks.
Harold Perkins, I went on record. I would go crazy if Harold Perkins was the pick, because that is an excellent selection.
Harold Perkins.
But I'd also go crazy for Whit Weeks, because him and Danny Stutsman would be so much fun.
Let's just draft the LSU defense.
Yeah, unfortunately, Loomis won't be going anywhere. He's balls deep in ownership right now, so he ain't getting canned. Be like that, man. Be like that.
Working his way up the totem pole.
Yeah. Gail's working her way up the totem pole.
Yeah.
All right. If we started Vele, would we use him as a big slot or a true big body receiver? Yes. I think yes to both. I think yes to both. Like, I don't think that there's a wrong way to utilize Devon Vele unless you just don't use him at all. There you go. No love, Matt. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Alrighty, let's get into the second segment here. Presented by Tushy. And is that a... Hold on. I want to make sure...
Also, I don't know who I need to talk to around here, but I want to get a Tushy for my apartment.
You want a Tushy?
Talk
to Jack.
I will.
Talk to Jack. By the way, Tushy is back.
Yeah, I want a bidet in
Tushy
my apartment.
is back. Is it presented by? I can't remember. No, it's not. Okay, just want to make sure. All right, cool. All righty, we're going to talk about the problems for the New Orleans Saints, because I think it all boils down to three things. I think it all can be combined and grouped into three specific things. You fix three things, you might start winning games. All right. Let me get a sip of agua, and we can rock and roll. If you're having a good time, make sure you like the video. 121 people watching, 47 likes. Let's get some more thumbs ups on this stream. Without further ado, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with the Saints and how they can fix it. 1 second. I was all cattywampus there. Alrighty, I'm ready. The New Orleans Saints got exposed. And it was a tough game in Week 3. The Seattle Seahawks absolutely dismantled the Saints. And for what it's worth, we've seen these problems not just this year, but for a few seasons now. And the Saints, they have officially been exposed. So for this video, I'm going to explain what's wrong with the team and how they can fix it. Because I do believe every issue with the New Orleans Saints can be boiled down to three things. If the Saints can address three problems and find solutions to them, then I do think that they are headed in the right direction. But you have to have an honest conversation. You have to take a look in the mirror and be true to what's going on. Why is there problems and what is happening? So let's start things off with problem number one. The New Orleans Saints are just like the local junkie on the corner of the street. They have a crippling addiction to self-inflicted wounds. And they have zero discipline whatsoever. I mean, when it comes to inopportune penalties, pre-snap penalties, third down and not getting stops or not being able to convert on third down or getting 3 and outs or dropped passes, the New Orleans Saints love shooting themselves in the foot. Any opportunity they get to unload the clip on their toe, they will take it because they have no discipline and the football they are playing is not detailed. It is not a clean brand of football whatsoever. We can talk about the self-inflicted wounds. I can give you guys the numbers. You can just turn on the tape and see, man, it is ugly. The New Orleans Saints right now are tied for first in total penalties with 31. 31 penalties, 211 yards. That means down and back and then some 2 full times solely based on penalties. Disgusting. That is absolutely horrendous. On third down, the offense, it's been bad. Defensively, even worse. On scoring, in terms of that, they get 15.7 points per game, towards the bottom of the league. Defensively, they give up 30 points per game. That's towards the bottom of the league as well. The New Orleans Saints, it's not just an offensive problem. It's not just a defensive problem. It's not a quarterback issue. It's not a coaching thing. It's not a this. It's not a that. It's everything. You can't point to one individual problem when it's everyone to blame. The Saints have been bad in all 3 phases. Offensively, defensively, and special teams. They have dropped the ball in every regard thus far into the season. And it's not going to get any easier as you progress through the year. So you have to find ways to fix these problems sooner rather than later. I'm so tired of mediocre football, and I'm so disgusted with this display. You can't even call it football. People are sitting here saying the Saints would lose to a middle school football team or to an elementary school peewee team. That's disgraceful, and that's disrespectful to Pop Warner football. That's disrespectful to recess ball with the homies. Are you kidding me? We can't call what the Saints did yesterday football. That was a joke. It was a clown show. If you're tired of mediocre football too, just hit the thumbs up icon. Like the video, man. I'm so fed up with seeing piss poor effort and piss poor execution. We have to send a message. So hit the thumbs up icon, like this video. If this sounds like you, I'm tired of mediocre football. If you agree, just pepper the thumbs up icon. How do we fix it? Well, let me tell you. It's a coaching thing. It's a coaching issue, and it starts at coaching. And I want it on record. I do not think Kellen Moore has been a bad head coach. I think that he could be better. I think that there are things that he needs to iron out. That being said, Kellen Moore, in my opinion, is doing things the right way to build for sustained success. Short term, we're not happy. But in the long term, I think we will be happy. So how to fix problem number one? You need to emphasize playing a cleaner and more disciplined brand of football. You need to prioritize developing the young talent. You need to take a look at practice and continue to bring in the officiating crews to make sure that you know how to prevent these penalties from happening all the time. Kellen Moore, he did say to media on Monday that they're looking at simplifying some aspects of the offense to help with those pre-snap penalties, which is good news. Accountability and a plan of action, that's what you need to have if you want to tackle this problem. So Kellen Moore, I appreciate that there is accountability there. It starts with him. He recognizes that. But I can also sit here and say that we need to see the results if you want to see the support from the Who Dat Nation. Now, problem number two, and again, I'm not saying that he isn't getting support, but like, people are not happy. Let's just call a spade here. Problem number two here, lack of preparation. This kind of goes hand in hand with problem number one, and you'll notice problem number one impacts problem number two, which impacts problem number three. They all kind of coincide with each other. The lack of preparation has just been outright disgusting the Saints and Kellen Moore, they are not showing up to games ready. They are not showing up understanding their assignments. They are not putting themselves in a position to win football games. They are digging themselves into holes, and they do not have the talent nor the experience in order to dig themselves out of those holes. I'm going to explain my case here in just one moment in full detail here. But really quick, got to give you guys some info about today's presenting sponsor, and it's one of my favorite sponsors. Guess who is back? It's Tushy! The best bidets in the whole wide world. A-hole, balloon knot, fart box, stink wrinkle, leather Cheerio, cornhole, mud button. They're only dirty words if you have dirty wipes. TMI, but I use my Tushy multiple times a day, every single day. For what it's worth, I took mine home, set it up in absolutely no time, and I've noticed drastic improvements during my time on the porcelain throne. And if you're looking to upgrade your toilet time, get 10% off using code CHAT at hellotushy.com. Stop, drop, plop, and clean up the mess with a Tushy bidet. Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. 99% of people who wash with Tushy Wave bidet feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. It's so easy, even a Falcons fan could do it. So I highly encourage you to check out the link in the comments and description of this video. Click it, get started, get 10% off your Tushy bidet. Trust me, your butthole will thank you. Clean up a crappy situation, and for what it's worth, I might have to send a couple Tushies to the Saints locker room because that is a crappy situation. Maybe, just maybe, we could clean it up with a Tushy bidet. Remember, a-hole is only a dirty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code CHAT. That's code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code CHAT. All that information is available in the comments and description of this video. Shout out to Tushy for making this one possible. Also, take care of your hiney, make it look shiny. Go get yourself started with Tushy. I love it. Maddie loves it. TMI, but it's an awesome product. Alrighty. I'm sorry. I can't stop talking about the Tushy. My dad, spoiler alert, I'm getting him one for Christmas. You should. It's a great Christmas gift. Just huge gag gift that also, people will appreciate. Just planting that seed there. Let's get back on topic here. Lopez, enough toilet talk, okay? Does Kellen Moore not trust his offense? Let's have an honest conversation. Because it feels like we have seen some aggressive football. We haven't seen the New Orleans Saints push the ball downfield enough. We haven't seen the Saints be aggressive with their play calling enough. We've seen way too much overall conservative football on the offensive side. And I think that the New Orleans Saints are not doing themselves any favors by not trying to be more aggressive. You have all of this speed, by the way, and Chris Olave, Brandon Cooks, Trey Palmer, who hasn't been active, but Rashid Shaheed as well. Mason Tipton has speed. You have all of this speed on the roster, and yet you're not sending them downfield. You're not stretching the field. It's really, really frustrating. Again, we've seen some aggressive football, but we've seen overall very conservative offensive play. And I don't know if Kellen Moore has a lack of confidence in Rattler. I don't know if Rattler has a lack of confidence in the rest of his offense. I don't know if it's a little bit of everything. But the New Orleans Saints need to be more aggressive offensively. You're not going to win games by just piddling around and trying to get by. They don't have a good enough team to do that. You got to try to steal some of these games away. I loved that the Saints, off the top, yesterday, were going for it on fourth down. I liked that. But then you're down by a lot. You need a miracle to get points. At halftime, you're like, let's kick the field goal. Are you kidding me? That was so soft. Have a spine. Drop your sack and run a play. It's a loose game. You're losing the game anyway. Might as well try to do something awesome and give yourself a reason to have some confidence. And Kellen Moore, after week 3, I will say, did a good job taking accountability. I mentioned that earlier, that he has done a good job being accountable. I really can appreciate that because Dennis Allen never did that. He always pointed the finger and blamed somebody else. We've got to be more prepared. It starts with me, and we've got to find the solution. That's what Kellen Moore had to say after week 3. I can appreciate the accountability from Kellen Moore. However, we need to see growth from this team if we want to have confidence moving forward. And by no means am I going to be on the train of fire Kellen Moore. That is not something I will advocate for this year, probably not next year either. 3 years, if it's an absolute train wreck, maybe we can have that conversation. But I am still a firm believer in Kellen Moore. I just think that this week was a little bit of a setback. Because weeks 1 and 2, it was like, okay, 1 possession loss, like, had some good moments, had an opportunity to win. What more could you ask for? You're a bad team. You're trying to steal wins anyway. Feels like week 3 was a massive, massive setback. Fortunately, no major injuries. But, God, it was not football. It just was not a game of football. 60 minutes absolutely wasted of our entire lives. Now, how to fix problem number 2. Reminder, it's the lack of preparation. The New Orleans Saints at practice need to be more intentional, and they need to focus on the little details first. They need to stop trying to overcomplicate and fix everything and make this some huge, massive final product that is illustrious and wildly successful. You can't do that if you don't have the foundation set. If you can't tackle, how the hell are you supposed to expect these guys to be flying around and performing in stunts and doing all these changes and having checks and audibles called? If you can't catch the ball, how are you expected to be doing extra things like having different routes to potentially run and having different assignments to potentially have in different situations? You have to focus on the little details first. You got to eat your vegetables before you can have your dessert. And eating your vegetables in this situation is just getting back to the fundamentals, getting back to the basics, and having a huge, huge intentional focus on the little details. We're going to have some more content, but I want to tell you guys to subscribe to the channel. Unfiltered Saints content by fans, for fans, every single day. Nobody, and I mean nobody out in the world tells me what I can and cannot talk about here on my channel. So if you want to get unfiltered, uncut, uncensored Saints content, I highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I'm a diehard Saints fan. I've been a diehard Saints fan my entire life, and it's an honor and a privilege to be making this content for you guys here. So be sure to subscribe for 100% free videos. Problem number 3. I remember 3 problems. First one was that the New Orleans Saints have an addiction to self-inflicted wounds. Second one, lack of preparation. Third, the roster simply isn't good enough. And they all 3 coincide with each other. If the roster was better, they could mess around and have better opportunities to potentially climb out of holes. If the discipline was better, they wouldn't need as good of a roster in order to win football games. If they were more prepared, they could mitigate the mistakes made by unexperienced players and the younger guys. The roster just simply is not good enough to truly compete against teams that would be deemed as quality football teams. You cannot sit here and say that the Saints are going to be a good team. Sure, maybe you beat up on the Panthers. Maybe you beat up on the Titans. Maybe you beat up on the Giants. Maybe you get a couple wins where you're like, holy cow, that's what this team's capable of? Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. But you need to have an entirely new roster. For what it's worth, I think the overall talent level just needs to be raised as a whole for New Orleans. The starters we need to have better starters. We need to have better depth. We need to have a more well-rounded roster. We need guys who can play complementary football because that's been a theme that's been lacking for the black and gold. And to be totally honest, it's frustrating because I'm somebody who's defended this roster. I'm somebody who's believed in this roster. And I am somebody who thinks that they have a really, really sneaky and underrated, under-respected, undervalued roster. They have talent. They have weapons. They have good football players. That's something that you cannot take away from this football team. I really, really do believe this roster has some talent. But they are overshadowed by mediocrity and by losses. It doesn't matter who you have on your team. If you are losing every single game, who cares? You could have a 1,000-yard receiver. Who cares? You're not winning a game. It doesn't matter. That's not what people are talking about. They're talking about how bad of a football team you are. So embracing mediocrity and the losses have overshadowed the talent that we have in New Orleans, so much so that the talent we have is being deemed as not that good. And it's really, really a frustrating thing to look at when you're on the outside looking in, because the national narrative around the Saints is not pretty. And then black and gold need to do things to find ways to make their stars play and look like stars. All of this to say, I pray to God that we hit on the 2025 draft class. I pray. I'm going to go ahead, get on my knees. Football gods, are you listening? Please, please, please let these draft picks pan out. Please, please, please prove and help this team get back on track and prove that this was a good draft class. I mean, for the love of God, you have talented guys in, for what it's worth, I think perennial starters. Kelvin Banks, Jonas Sanker, Danny Stutsman, Quincy Riley, Devin Neal, all for sure, in my opinion, have what it takes to be perennial starters in this league for the New Orleans Saints. Jury's out on Tyler Shuck. Maybe that was a wasted pick. Maybe he's the guy. We don't know yet. It's way too early to tell. Vernon Broughton, I was really excited about him. He's on season-ending IR. Maliki Mataval recently was cut by the Saints. He's going to be kind of one of those back-and-forth guys, up and down. Fadil Diggs, same kind of thing. But, I'm praying that we hit on this draft class because you had 9 selections. And if you make 9 picks and you look back and be like, wow, only 1 or 2 of those guys actually panned out, that's embarrassing. It really is, especially considering moving forward, we don't have a lot of draft picks. 5 next year, 5 the following year, 8, and then 7, I believe is what it's at. We're going to pop up the numbers here in just one moment because Loco Lopez is absolutely a rock star. Future draft picks. The New Orleans Saints next NFL draft, they do not have a 4th or a 7th round pick. In 2027, they don't have a 6th or a 7th round pick. In 2028, no 6th, but 3 7th round picks. So for the next 2 years, you have 10 selections lined up. That doesn't include any comp picks or anything like that. But that's not ideal. You need these draft picks that you took this year to pan out, especially considering the next 2 years, you do not have a lot of draft capital. How do we fix problem number 3? It's a cop-out, but time. You need time. You need time to fix this. That's the only thing. Because cutting and trading away players right now, sure, it can help you get some draft capital back and everything, but it really doesn't massively solve any problems. I want to go through a few names here. Demario Davis, Alvin Kamara, Cam Jordan, Brandon Cooks, Taysom Hill. All 5 veterans that the New Orleans Saints could potentially move off of this year or will be off of their roster by 2026. The New Orleans Saints need to be done with some of these veteran contracts, and they need to make smarter draft picks, and they need to hit on these draft classes. Demario Davis is under contract through 2025. After that, he becomes an unrestricted free agent. Alvin Kamara, under contract through 2026. He has an $18 million cap hit in that season. Cam Jordan, under contract through 2025. He's been vocal that he thinks he has 1 more year left in the tank, and he wants to retire a Saint. But I'm going to be honest, after this year, I don't think he will run it back. Brandon Cooks, under contract through 2026, making $8 million next year. He signed a 2-year contract. Taysom Hill, under contract through 2025, making a lot of money, double digits. Like $18 million or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. I can tell you if you give me 2 seconds. But point being, the New Orleans Saints need to free themselves of some of these contracts. The New Orleans Saints need to $14 million cap hit this year for Taysom Hill. The New Orleans Saints need to free themselves from these contracts. They need to get these guys, I'm not saying cut them and push them away, because I do think they're valuable in helping create culture and build foundation. Because when we all look back in a few years, we're going to say, thank goodness we had guys like Demario Davis, Alvin Kamara, Cam Jordan, Taysom Hill, Brandon Cooks helping segue in the next generation of Saints football. But to be totally honest, the only way you're going to be able to fix this and improve the roster is time. You need more draft picks. You need more money. You need some of these guys to get off your roster. You need to free yourself up from some contracts because Saints roster is not good. Just how it is. So what's the biggest issue? I gave you 3. I gave you 3 issues. What do you think is the biggest one? Get down in the comment section, share your thoughts, and let me know. Just to recap, here are my 3 biggest issues for the black and gold this year. If you fix these 3 things, I think this team is set up for success in the future. There's no discipline. They are their own worst enemies, and they are addicted to self-inflicted wounds. Number 2, they have a lack of preparation. They do not show up to game days ready, and that is a Kellen Moore problem. Number 3, they have a bad roster, and they just need to get better, hit on those draft picks, get younger, get cheaper, get more athletic, get more productive, and not so injury prone. Those are the 3 things that I think the New Orleans Saints need to do. These are the 3 things that I think the Saints' biggest issues are right now. Appreciate you guys for rocking and rolling with us here on this video. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. I'm a diehard Saints fan. We go live every single Monday, every single Thursday, and every single game day. So be sure to subscribe here to the channel. Turn on your notifications. And for my guy, Loco Lopez, y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time. Boom. 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 Okay, cool. Sorry, I was replying to Brett. The boss sent a message, and when the boss messages, you answer. And it's mailbag time. So use hashtag Saints send in a super chat. Do we have questions? Yeah. We need a few more. I need you guys to use hashtag Saints, send in a super chat, or send in a question, send in a hot take, trade idea, cut candidate, draft guy, something you want to talk about. I want you guys to get in the comments, use hashtag Saints right here, right now.
Ooh, that's a good question, William.
Ooh, what do we do with Chase Young? That's a great question, William.
A good one. I do like that.
Lonnie, use hashtag Saints and then put that in there.
For the super chats that we got earlier, were there any that I know there's one that I'd want to use for the mailbag. Which one do you draft or who do you want to draft? But I'm trying to remember if there was.
There's a couple super chats that we could do too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to see if there was any good ones.
That's a good one.
I like this one.
That's a good one. Because we can use that graphic again if we need to.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't hate this one. I wouldn't hate the Johnny M one because that's kind of the point of like.
That kind of act the same thing.
Yeah,
it's about like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, we can do Kirk Cousins if we can throw those ones in there too.
Yeah, just like mention it.
Like,
while we're talking about it.
So throw that one up, and then we can throw do the brand or the super chat, and then we can go like, well, I mean quarterbacks. There's one about Kirk Cousins. There's one about Jacoby Brissett. There's one whatever it is and stuff. We can just kind of keep the QB ones together. Alrighty, keep on getting your questions in.
Keep on keeping on.
Okay. Oh, had to pop my neck. Sorry, guys. Alrighty. They trade for a QB, Trizzy and Loco. Should they trade for QB? Is that what you're saying, Reaper?
I think so.
I think we're trying to get the number 1 draft pick. I don't think the New Orleans Saints are trying to tank. If you think the New Orleans Saints are tanking,
unintentional tank.
The New Orleans Saints are not tanking. And by the way, there is not this idea of tanking is a fan theory. Players have money on the line. They have incentives on the line. Coaches have jobs on the people have money and jobs on the line. They don't intentionally lose games to help a draft pick, especially considering when the coach or the player may not be around the next year. Why the hell would they try to help him out? This whole tanking thing is a fan theory. Don't want to burst your bubble, but tanking is not a real thing in sports. It is a thing that fans like to say is a thing, and it is a thing fans believe in, but it is not a real practice that professional sports teams actually partake in.
I think the only one I could really believe it in is baseball.
Yeah, baseball.
I
could believe baseball.
I could believe people be tanking in baseball.
Mm-hmm. They also don't have a salary cap there, so they can make as much money as they possibly want.
Exactly.
So coincides.
Yeah.
What if the NFL moved to a lottery system? I actually would hate that so much. I would hate it so much.
I'm indifferent about a lottery system in the NFL.
I think for NBA it makes sense. There's just too many draft picks for the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's too many picks because if you have 7 rounds for 32 teams and you get the first pick in each of those rounds, sure, it's basketball, you get the first pick in each round too, or whatever, but you're adding so many more players at such a high stake. I think a
borderline playoff team ends up with the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
They're going to be stacked going
exactly.
into this year.
You can't. Let's say the Chiefs miss the playoffs this year, and they're one of those teams that are right there at the cusp.
They're a game out.
They're 1 game out. They take it down to they need to win, and they need the Broncos to lose or whatever it is to make the playoffs. But They end up not making it, and then you get them to have a top 3 pick. Like, it's just like I think that it's a little bit more risky to do that in the NFL than it is in NBA. And I'm not a huge hoops guy, so like maybe I'm wrong in that regard, but I just feel like there's much higher stakes with the NFL because there's so many more people getting picked.
Yeah, when
and
you're
there's so
adding
many more
7 players instead of NBA, let's say you're
three,
adding
two
two
or
to
three. Like if it was 2 or 3 picks, sure.
And the second guy is usually playing the G League anyway, so you're really
exactly.
only adding
You're really adding one guy. And if that was the case, okay, fine. But if you're adding anywhere from let's call it 6 to 9 players,
you could remake a unit.
If you draft 9 players, 11 starters on one side of the football, you're almost taking an entire starting unit on or off the field and putting a new one on. So like, I just think it makes sense. I think it's a tough one to do that. I love football. Good question there. Let's get into the mailbag because we got a few ones piling in. Jerry G, I'm with you, bro. I am so tired of these penalties. I am so over it. By the way, I'm not really looking forward to this segment because we are talking about Alvin Kamara trade rumors. Should I do the whole video like this? Should I do the whole video with my brim up like this? I'd look like...
I'm not saying who wore it like that. I've seen that before.
I know, I've seen it too. Who is it? I don't remember, but I've seen people do that. Alrighty, mailbag time. Let's get into it. Lopez, whenever you're ready, my friend, we can dive on in. Use hashtag Saints, send in a super chat. We'll get you on the show. We're going to start things off with some Alvin Kamara trade buzz. I haven't seen anything that suggests the Saints will be trading him. However, there are fan bases out there who want him traded, so we're going to respond. Again, let me make something explicitly clear. I am not advocating to trade for Alvin Kamara. I am simply arguing and responding to what other fan bases are saying in regards to trading our player. So I will make that abundantly clear once again in a moment. But for all of you in the chat who are already saying you're an idiot and F you, you're a clickbait merchant, go to hell.
Go check out our Browns channel if you like clickbait.
Yeah, if you like clickbait, go check out the Browns channel.
Go see why they're Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, our Browns host, shamelessly, with no shame whatsoever, put out a video. Here's why the Browns are Super Bowl contenders. And you want to know his explanation? I don't even know the term. It was some math.
Because the Packers beat somebody.
It was a
and
math
the Browns
theory.
Beat the Packers. It was like.
It was a transitive property.
Yeah.
Because the Packers had a 4th highest Super Bowl odds. The Browns beat the Packers, so thus they now have the 4th, if not better, Super Bowl. So yeah, you want clickbait? Go over there. Just kidding. I love Joe. Yeah, he's doing a great job.
It was just a choice.
It's just Super Bowl choice. Super Bowl contenders after week 3, after one win is insane. I wouldn't have done that, but that's just me. If we beat the Bills, oh boy, you better look for that video on the channel. You better be looking for that video on the channel. We're doing it. No questions asked. That happens. All righty, let's dive on in. Let's do this. Yep. Let's have a very disgusting and honestly not fun conversation. Trade buzz around Alvin Kamara, and then we're going to answer some questions from the Who Dat Nation. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. Now, there's a lot of chatter out there from Chiefs fans that they want to trade for Alvin Kamara, and there's even people saying that the Chiefs have the leverage. And I'm here to tell you, the Saints have all the leverage, and I'm also here to tell you, I don't think he's going anywhere. The reports out there around a potential trade do not exist because there is nothing suggesting that the New Orleans Saints are considering moving off of Alvin Kamara. I wanted to make that abundantly clear here because there's a lot of times people get in the comments and say, we're just posting clickbait, or this is just so stupid. I've never heard this trade rumor. Why do you guys do this? Blah, 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 blah. I'm simply wanting to respond to the Chiefs' kingdom in some egregious trade rumors and trade ideas because they have been put out there. And as a Saints fan, I want to give my take. So this isn't anything saying that the Saints are moving off of Alvin Kamara. There's nothing in this video suggesting that they have or will be trading him or that he wants out. That could not be further from the truth here. That being said, Chiefs fans want him. And I'm here to tell you why they're not going to get him. So Lance the Spoken, a Chiefs fan with a podcast out there known as the Spoken Pod, he recently put out this tweet saying trading for Kamara would cost the Chiefs less than $3 million, yada, yada, yada. If they were to release him after 2025, they'd only suffer $3 million cap hit. Keep going on and on and on. The Saints know they don't have leverage given his $18 million cap hit due on their books in 2026. This is a move the Chiefs should make. For what it's worth, I will say, Lance, you are right in one spot. This is a move the Chiefs should make. But I'm here to tell you it's not a move the Chiefs will be able to make. And I'm also here to tell you the Chiefs have no leverage. You want my player? I got the leverage. You want Alvin Kamara? Guess what? We hold the cards. We set the price tag. We set the bidding number. If you want Alvin Kamara, okay. How's the first and the second round pick sound? How's Patrick Mahomes for Kamara sound? We want to play this game? I'll play this game. I'll get ridiculous. That's a move the Saints should make. The Saints have all the leverage because they have Alvin Kamara. There you go. Oh, we can spin it all right around. But it doesn't stop there. Christian Ainsworth of the Arrowhead Addict put out this blog suggesting that the Alvin Kamara trade would make a ton of sense for Kansas City. Again, I do think for the Chiefs it would be in a good addition because Alvin Kamara is a great football player. Christian Ainsworth saying out on the field, Kamara offers exactly what the Chiefs' offense has been missing: explosiveness, vision, and high-level receiving ability out of the backfield. His skill set perfectly complements Mahomes, providing both pass protection and dynamic checkdown potential. For the price of a 5th to 6th round pick, this move would be difficult for Kansas City to pass up. Yeah, it might be difficult for Kansas City to pass up. Not difficult for New Orleans, though. Pretty easy decision. And I'm going to go ahead and just say, first of all, a 5th or 6th round pick for Alvin Kamara is just outright disrespectful. And I'm not saying that he's worth a 1st round pick. I'm not even saying he's worth the day 2 pick. A 5th round pick, come on. It's Alvin Kamara. Put some respect on his name. If you want a great football player, if you want an elite football player, if you want one of those guys who's a difference maker, you're going to need to put that kind of price tag on it. And I'm not saying it needs to be a 1st or 2nd round pick. And I'm also not saying I want to trade for Alvin Kamara. But a 5th or 6th is just outright disrespectful. And that is an offer that the Saints will pass up on. I have no desire to trade Alvin Kamara. I want that on record. I do not want him gone. I want him to retire a Saint. I want him in New Orleans. I do not want to trade Alvin Kamara. Let me make that one more time abundantly clear. Trizzy Trace Girouard, host of Saints Now by Chat Sports, do not want Alvin Kamara to be traded, nor do I think Alvin Kamara will be traded. I, again, am simply responding to what other fan bases, what other people are saying about a player that's on my team. And I can tell you right now, it has not been a mystery. Alvin Kamara wants to be a Saint for life. He has not shied away from saying that he wants to rep the fleur-de-lis. He wants to wear the black and gold until the day he retires. So for Alvin Kamara, in terms of a trade, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it would make sense. And for what it's worth, you can argue, well, you got to get the draft capital. He's your best trade asset. Those are all true things. But at the end of the day, Alvin Kamara provides more than just quality football on the field. He's a mentor. He's a leader. He's somebody that has a huge, huge grasp of the fan base. And to be totally honest, if you lose Alvin Kamara, you're losing a huge part of the locker room. He is Saints football. He embodies the city of New Orleans. He is the reason that the New Orleans Saints offense even has any life whatsoever. So here's your warning. I'm going to say it now because you will see more of these. Alvin Kamara will be at the center of a lot of trade rumors, especially considering the New Orleans Saints are a team that will probably not have a lot of wins when the trade deadline approaches. There'll also be a team that a lot of people are going to be assuming are going to start offloading their assets to try and gain back trade capital or draft capital, excuse me. You have 5 picks in 2025. You have 5 picks in 2026, and you have to make more improvements. Or, 2026, 2027. You have 5 picks in the next 2 NFL drafts. You're going to need more draft capital. I don't want to advocate for trading Alvin Kamara, but you will see trade rumors definitely pick up as the season progresses, especially as the trade deadline approaches and the Saints keep losing games. Now, I want you to answer this question. Is there a world where you would ever trade Alvin Kamara? For me, there isn't one. He's too valuable. And he's a guy that I want to keep around on my roster. I don't want to get rid of him. I think he's a valuable football player for a lot of different reasons. But I want to hear from you in the comment section, so be sure to sound off. Now, coming up, we're going to get into our live Q&A with the Golden Gang. Y'all got questions and hot takes. Me and Lopez, we got answers and responses. But first things first, got to thank today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Guys, we make decisions every single day. And Prize Picks is the only place where making good decisions and being right can get you paid. So test your ball knowledge and test your sports opinions on the Prize Picks app and turn those thoughts into cold, hard cash. Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. They offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this season. Prize Picks also offers injury reboots if one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return due to injury. Prize Picks will not count it as a loss. Now, for week 3, I'm trying to go and make some money here. So I'm going to take a free little fun square right here, a little bit of a promo they got going on, half a passing yard. I'll sit here and tell you this. That actually might be kind of a risky one because Jalen Hurts kind of sucks at throwing the football, but you'll get one ride, right? Right? You'll get 1 yard, right? Right, Lopez? Okay, I think he'll get a yard. Chris Olave, though. We're going to add this to the slip every single week until it happens. We're going to project it into existence because I am tired of it not happening. If you want to take advantage of this Jalen Hurts square and you want to see Chris Olave find the end zone, I highly encourage you to get started over on Prize Picks. They also got all sorts of other fun promos and deals going on the app. So download Prize Picks today. Use code CLNS. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS. To get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. All of that information is available in the comments and description of this video. Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring our video. Go check it out. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. First question coming in from Fayetteville, Arkansas legend Johnny M. Hope classes are going well for you, brother. We should try to grab a vet quarterback like Mariota or someone who won't break the bank. Okay. I am going to have a little bit of a tough conversation here. Available quarterbacks, according to Spotrac, and this isn't even 100% accurate. 3 names. C.J. Beathard, who is on a practice squad. Jeff Driscoll. And Jake Fromm, who is, I believe, selling insurance. So that's what's available in free agency in terms of practice squad. Kadon Slovis, DJU, Sam Hartman, Will Greer, Kyle McCord, Easton Stick. He's been around with the Saints before. Brady Cook, Malik Cunningham, Clayton Tune, Hendon Hooker, Tyler Huntley. Like some of those guys are dudes are on the practice squads for other rosters. You can poach those guys and put them on your active roster. I don't think that makes any sense, though. So in my personal opinion, adding a veteran quarterback at this point is kind of a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of draft capital if you have to trade for one. I personally don't think bringing in a veteran quarterback at this point makes any sense, especially considering there's really nobody of value to bring in. So that's also kind of one thing you have to think about. No love, Matt. Let's take a look ahead to the draft. Who should we pick in 2026? Obviously, we do not know where the New Orleans Saints will select. It is fair to say they will be in the top 5. Don't think that that's egregious to say. My take has always been the New Orleans Saints will be a top 5 pick. They will not be the number 1 pick. I stand by it. Number 2, though, makes me nervous. So let's talk about some potential draft picks for the New Orleans Saints. I'm trying to compile this list of guys that I would genuinely want in a top selection that could help benefit my roster from the jump. Garrett Nussmeier, John Mateer. I didn't include Cade Klubnik or Arch Manning. Quite frankly, I think Arch Manning's just been terrible. He needs another year at college football. I want nothing to do with him if he comes out in the draft this year. Garrett Nussmeier, I think he's been okay. Hasn't been amazing. Hasn't been horrible. I think he's been all right. Cade Klubnik, kind of the same thing as Nuss, but I'd prefer Nuss over Klubnik. Although I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I like Nuss more. Not really interested in Lenora Sellers. I don't want more injuries. I don't want more of that, to be totally honest. Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate. I would love a wide receiver. I'd love a weapon. Jordan Tyson, the best wide receiver in college football right now. Carnell Tate, a big-bodied presence that could be really, really impactful. I also think that you should target the interior offensive line rather than the tackles. So maybe prioritizing the interior line is something that you would do. Caleb Downs, one of the best pure college football players this year. I think if the Saints have an opportunity to take him, they would be silly not to. But I also think the defensive line is a position that the New Orleans Saints need to put more juice in. So I like Reuben Bain Jr. I like TJ Parker, some of those edge rushers, some of those defensive tackles. I want to see the New Orleans Saints bring in more talent and raise the overall talent level of the team. For what it's worth, I really don't care who the Saints draft with their first-round pick in 2026, considering you have a lot of needs and you have a lot of problems. You have a lot of holes on your roster. You could afford to make upgrades at a lot of different positions. So for me personally, my philosophy is going to be what it was going into this past year. But this time, I'm really not wavering on the offensive line pick. I really don't want that. I want somebody whose jersey I can buy and wear during the season. Give me somebody to tune into and root for week in and week out. Tet McMillan in Carolina, are you kidding me? Like, how fun would that be? Tyler Warren has been a huge contributor to the Colts offense. Like, I would like to have somebody who I can get excited about. Ashton Jeanty, he has no help around him in Las Vegas, but he's still doing something crazy. Lopez, what are your thoughts on the 2026 draft for the Saints?
I think the two biggest names that stuck out for me, it kind of depends on what direction the Saints go. If we're going quarterback and we're still drafting top 2, top 3, like it's looking like we're gonna, let's go Nussmeier. I think he's the most pro-ready quarterback right now. He's not been the greatest this year. I'll call a spade a spade.
I'll also say this. I think that it would be nice to have a top-tier quarterback. Like, we don't, like, you have somebody who is worthy of a top 3 pick. You haven't had that since Arch Manning in the 70s.
I wasn't alive.
I wasn't.
I don't know what that was
Some
like.
of y'all were. I wasn't. So I've never in my lifetime seen the New Orleans Saints have a top draft pick be the quarterback of the team.
No. And then
it wouldn't be bad to see that kind of level player, that kind of caliber guy be the leader of the offense. Like, Lopez, is it fair to say, if you have a top 3 pick, you should not shy away from a quarterback unless it's just really not that great? If you're impressed, you got to take one.
Yeah, unless you're really turned off by it, then I'm going the Caleb Downs route. Because like you were saying, he might be that best guy in college football right now. Our secondary sucks already.
Yep.
So a safety is going to help.
And we've seen rookie defensive backs make impacts immediately on other rosters across the league. Like the Baltimore Ravens, prime example. It feels like every year their rookie defensive back of the draft
it works
plugs
out.
and plays and is amazing. So, like, I think that that's something that the New Orleans Saints should look at. Who should we draft? I'm going to say go raise your talent level. I don't have a specific player in mind. I have a few guys in mind, but the priority needs to be just to overall improve this roster. No Love Matt with another question. If we started Devon Vele, would we use him as a big slot or a true big body wide receiver? I think you'd use him a little bit in both. Devon Vele is really good in contested catches. He's a player who should be heavily utilized in the red zone. He's somebody I think that should be targeted more often on important downs, such as third down as well. I think that the New Orleans Saints will see a more increased role for Devon Vele as the season progresses. And I do think that he is a player that could prove why the Saints made that trade and prove them right if given opportunities to do so. So in terms of where he lines up, I genuinely think he could kind of go anywhere. Would not be surprised if he lines up all over this place. Fish reminds... What? Okay. Anywho. Trade AK-41. What is that? Oh, I'm not even looking at... What is that picture? I don't know. I can't figure it out. Alrighty, trade AK-41 and tag some hole to Enver Bouncers and get some draft capitalism. I think I just had a stroke. Reading that. Okay. Trade Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill to the Broncos. So I don't think the Broncos need a running back. Do they? How's the running back situation? They have RJ Harvey. J.K. Dobbins, Audric Estime, didn't he go down with it? I don't know. Long story short, if there was any team who were to trade for Taysom Hill, there's only one, and it would be the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton. But I'm going to be totally real. I don't think anybody's going to trade for a guy who's currently on IR unless it's the New Orleans Saints. Well, he's on the PUP list and not on IR. That's a game changer. Yeah, trade him away. No, do it. No, Sure, why not? I don't even know how to respond. I don't think trading Alvin Kamara makes sense. Taysom Hill, I wouldn't mind trading away at this point. I just don't see a world where anybody's interested in it. And also, what are you going to get, a 7th-round pick in return? Like, you're not going to get a ton in return for Taysom Hill. We would want it, but nobody's going to offer that much. I love football. Saints get Harold Perkins next year. All right, Lopez, I want you on screen here because you're an LSU guy. I want you to pop yourself on screen because let's have a conversation here. I have been on record multiple times saying how fun it would be to have an LSU linebacker line up next to Danny Stutsman. So there's 2 ways we can go about this. One, Harold Perkins, Danny Stutsman, no question about it, dogs. That's going to be awesome. That'll be fun. That being said, having our own set of exciting whites would also be pretty damn cool. Whit Weeks and Danny Stutsman, that is pure electricity in the linebacker room. And don't get it twisted, I would be thrilled with Harold Perkins. I want that on record. I am not saying that I would prefer Whit Weeks over Harold Perkins. I would be thrilled for either one of those. But to play devil's advocate for another LSU linebacker you didn't mention, Whit Weeks would be sick. I want to hear your thoughts as an LSU grad and fan and somebody who's tapped into the Tigers every day.
I think it's more all about value. I think Harold Perkins, he might be the better guy coming into the league.
Okay.
I know when he first started at LSU, a lot of the comparisons I was getting him was Micah Parsons, the way that he was dropping back in coverage is like that speedy linebacker,
sure,
but also dangerous off the edge.
Sure.
Whit Weeks is going to be more that traditional linebacker that still rush the passer a little bit, but I'm not lining him up on the line every down.
Well, so in terms of that, for a complimentary football, you would probably want Harold Perkins more because Danny Stutsman is that like all-around linebacker that can do just pretty much anything. He's good in every regard. He's not I'm not going to say he's not elite, but he can't say that. It's too early. But my point being, if you don't want 2 of the exact same players, so Harold Perkins could be a really nice compliment to Danny Stutsman in terms of the skill sets that they both provide. And again, I'm not an LSU fan. I'm an Arkansas guy. So like I'm trying to learn more ball about what's going on. So it's good to know that. It is really good to know that. I think
for Perkins, though, if you want him, you are going to have to invest a higher draft pick in him.
Okay.
Maybe a late first round. I think Whit Weeks right now could be a day 2 steal.
Okay.
Not many people are looking at him. And then
so what do you think is the latest the Saints could get away with drafting Harold Perkins? Do you think it's a first-round pick? Late
first, second round is where I see that Perkins
obviously, we have to see how
he can shoot up if he keeps.
If he tests off the charts and if he just has some crazy,
he's gonna be a freak at the combine.
Yeah, that could easily drastically change everything here. That being said, like if the New Orleans Saints were looking to potentially trade back, maybe that's a grab Harold Perkins, grab an extra guy in the first round because we don't have those extra picks later on, so we could load up on day 1 and 2. Maybe that's a strategy you go with. All in all, would love Harold Perkins, would love Whit Weeks. Shout out to the Tigers.
Let's just bring him
in. Shout out to the LSU Tigers. For what it's worth, they've been a good football team the past few years. Feels like they should start drafting those guys more often. Just crazy thought. I don't know. All righty. Do we have any more questions? Yes, William. What do we do with Chase Young? That's a great question, William. I don't know. I ain't got a clue. I ain't got a damn clue. In terms of what's going on with Chase Young, obviously he hasn't played much or at all yet this season due to a calf injury. It's kept him sidelined all season. Kellen Moore today on Monday to media saying, quote, sometimes those are tricky injuries. Sometimes you've got to see how this thing progresses. He's doing everything he can, but we've got to do what's right for him, not just this week, but from a season-long perspective. Reminder that Chase Young signed a 3-year contract, $17 million a year, and he hasn't played a snap yet. So for me, I find it really frustrating that he hasn't been on the field. He was paid and brought back in free agency to be the leading edge rusher for the Saints. And the best ability is availability. And if you're not going to be available, then you're costing my team money and you're not doing anything helpful for me. Get on the field and start playing good. Life's awesome. Pretty simple person to please. Just need you to go out and get some sack production. But Chase Young just isn't doing anything. And for what it's worth, you can sit here, let's trade him at the deadline. Let's do this. Let's do that. Well, if you want to maximize your trade return, he's got to get on the field. Because if he's not on the field and he already has a history of injuries, teams aren't going to want to pay more for him. They're not going to pay a premium. They're not even going to want to pay anything for him. So, definitely think that it's a tough situation to navigate with Chase Young. I don't want him to further risk injury, but I want him on the field, man. We're going on to 4 weeks where he probably won't be on the field. It's that point. You should have put him on the PUP list or on IR with a designation to return. Just frustrating. Just gonna be totally honest. Make it stop. When will the Saints win their first game? It's a great question. When it make it stop? That is a great question. It's a trick question, actually. Yes. Lopez saying trick question. They won't. Look, the Saints have some tough games up ahead. And next week, their most immediate matchup is going to be against the Bills at Buffalo. It's not going to go well. Just going to keep it real. It ain't going to go pretty. Maybe week 5. That could be one. The Giants might be starting Jackson Dart by then. But maybe that'll give them a spark on offense. So maybe you lose. Week 6, New England Patriots, maybe. They also got Drake May, who's a good quarterback. Week 7, Dennis Allen of the Bears. They're bad. They just beat the Cowboys, who are also a bad team, but they looked competent. Saints haven't. I'll always say that the NFC South games are up for grabs. That might be a game that they could potentially win. I think all of those are worth saying you could split. I'm not going to sit here and say that they definitely will win all of those, but maybe. So, I mean, when's the next game they'll win? I think your best chance is week 5, week 6, week 7. And I think after that, NFC South play. And after that, it's a good thing you play the Miami Dolphins and the Jets in the last couple of weeks of the season. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts there. Now, get in the comment section. Share your updated record predictions. A lot of people early in the season, even me included, were like, they're going to have a lot more wins than people are saying right now. But right now, they have no wins. And I thought the Saints would at least have 1 win by this time in the season. So, my updated record prediction, 4 wins. I think they might get 4-13. 4-13, maybe. I think 5-12 is about where you cap off.
I think I'm capping around 3.
Lopez capping at 3 wins.
Like, maybe the Dolphins later in the year, but at that point, that might be a game that both teams might just be better
Might
off
try to
losing.
lose, yeah. Like, exactly. So, share your record predictions. I don't think mine's very high, to be honest. Nor is Lopez. Sorry, we're in a rebuild. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's video. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. We had a great time talking about the latest rumors around the black and gold and responding to those Chiefs fans who want to steal Alvin Kamara away from us. You ain't going to get him. We got all the leverage. My name is Trizzy. That's Loco Lopez. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time. Alrighty, Queen Courtney. Good to see you, girl. Good to see you. Appreciate your donation, my friend, my girl, my homie. Okay. 5 wins, and that's being generous. At least 5
wins. Positive, but like name the 5.
So I will say Dolphins, you'll win. Giants, you'll win. Jets, you'll win.
It depends what Giants we get. If we get Giants from 2 weeks ago where Russell Wilson went for 450 and Malik Neighbors shit on every DB
yeah,
had.
But I also the Cowboys aren't good. I'm just gonna sit here and say the Cowboys.
We're not great.
I don't want to, and I don't want to take anything
great.
away from the Giants' offense in that game. But the Cowboys' defense is atrocious. I'm not saying we're any better, but like, kind of your point, we're not good either.
What about that Giants pass rush?
Giants pass rush scares me. They are good. They are good. I don't know. We might not win a game, man. We might win 2 or 3. I think the goal should be to get 5 wins. Have the same record as you did last year. That should be the goal. Have the same record you did last year. UPK, start the rookie. What's the worst that can happen? Give him a chance. Which rookie? Which rookie would you like to start? Lopez, I think it's about time to sign off today. I think it's about time to hop on out of here. We've been live for the last hour and 34 minutes. If you guys want to check out the content, just rewind, and you can rewatch all of it. Or you can hang tight. Give us about 20 minutes. We'll put out some content onto the channel. We'll put out more tomorrow morning, and we'll put out more tomorrow afternoon, and then more in the morning the following morning, and then in the afternoon, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the morning, in the afternoon, and then we'll be live for game day. So
You did that really fast in your head. I would have had to count it out and be like, how many of those do we live?
I kind of stopped counting. I think I stopped at 4, but it'd be like that.
You skipped our Thursday live too. But
Oh yeah, I skipped Thursday live too. Yeah, that's why I didn't count. I didn't really count. So I don't even know what's going on here. All righty, we're going to hop on out here. I appreciate you guys for hanging out and rocking and rolling with us. It's been a really, really fun live show. To everyone who sent in a super chat and everyone who's tuned in, we really do appreciate y'all. My name is Trizzy. That's Loco Lopez. Y'all stay golden. See you next time.